So the Philip J. Currie Dinosaur Museum showcases the fossil resources of northern Alberta. When people think of dinosaurs in Alberta, they tend to think of places like Drumheller and Dinosaur Provincial Park, like the south of the province, whereas we have lots of dinosaurs up here as well. They're less well known, so they haven't been collected for as long, as well as the fact that we don't have big badlands, like big expanses of rock that we can find fossils in. We tend to have river valleys and forests, so our dinosaurs are harder to find, but they are here. So we probably have the same amount of dinosaur resources as somewhere like Drumheller. So this is a great place to be a paleontologist, and this museum was established to showcase the fossils that come specifically from here in northern Alberta. So Alberta is rich in dinosaur fossils kind of across the board. So the most famous localities are places like Dinosaur Provincial Park and Drumheller, but the reason that they're there is largely because back in the Cretaceous period, when our dinosaurs were around, there was a seaway that was actually splitting North America in half from east to west, and we were actually right on the edge of the seaway. So anywhere that we have rocks that capture that time period where like the Cretaceous period where we were beside that seaway, we'll find dinosaurs. So you can actually trace them from Dinosaur Provincial Park to Drumheller to the Edmonton area, up here to Grande Prairie. They kind of form a line. That is the coast of that ancient seaway. So because those environments are really good for preserving fossils, and we're a great place for the dinosaurs to live, that's why we find so many fossils here. Yeah, so when people think of paleontology, they tend to think of it as like an old, dusty science, whereas that is really not the case. We do use a lot of modern technology in our work. So things like surface scanning, for example. We use what's called photogrammetry, which is a way to 3D image things. We use things like CT scanners, which are like X-rays, where we can look inside fossils without having to cut them open. We also use a lot of computer modeling to figure out how dinosaurs moved. And we also use modern science like isotope geochemistry, which is kind of a fancy way to be able to tell the ancient climate, like how warm it was, how wet it was when the dinosaurs were around. We also try and use things like virtual reality and other kind of digital media to bring our science to the public, because people kind of like to see it in that sort of three-dimensional, immersive kind of sense. So our most famous dinosaur from here in northern Alberta is an animal called a Pachyrhinosaurus, and that's a skeleton of one right there. So the Pachyrhinosaurus was a horned dinosaur, like a smaller, older cousin of the Triceratops, but instead of having a horn on its nose, it had this huge bony bump called a boss. So the reason that that is our superstar dinosaur from here is that we have a big bone bed. So a bone bed is basically an accumulated mass of dinosaurs that all kind of died at once. So 20 minutes south of here at the museum, we have a site called the Pipestone Creek Bonebed. It's one of the largest and densest dinosaur deposits in all of North America, and it's full of Pachyrhinosaurus. So this species is actually unique or endemic to this area, so found here and nowhere else in the world. We also have big duckbill dinosaurs that we dig up, things like Edmontosaurus, so that's a dinosaur named after the city of Edmonton. Obviously they find it down south as well. And we do also have things like Tyrannosaurs, so not T-Rex. Our rocks are a little too old to have T-Rex, but we have a similar dinosaur called an Albertosaurus. So we have a big Tyrannosaur, and we also have some of those little feathered dinosaurs as well. We had lots of dinosaurs, a big variety and diversity of dinosaurs that were living here in the Cretaceous period. So this is our fossil preparation lab. So there's a lot of things that go on here. So everything that we collect in the field, so we go out in the summer, we do what's called field work, which is basically looking for the fossils, finding them, excavating them, and bringing them back to the museum. So everything we collect in the field comes back here to the lab. This, for the most part, is where it's prepared. So when we say preparation, what we mean is basically removing the fossils from the rock that we collected them in, and gluing them together, make sure they don't fall apart, removing all of the mud and the rock that's kind of caked onto the outside. So once that's done, a lot of the fossils actually go into our collections area. So it's kind of like think of it as a library of dinosaur bones, so that we can study them, other researchers can come in and study them as well. And of course, some of these bones actually go out on display as well. So here in the lab, we do the preparation, we do all the the collections-based work, so identifying, cataloging things, making sure everything has a number. We do a little bit of the exhibits preparation in here as well. So there's a lot that happens in this room. So this museum is unique for a couple of reasons. So first of all, where we are. We are a museum that is right in the middle of all of our field sites. So the museum is built because the dinosaurs are here, which is actually a little bit unusual for a natural history museum. Like a lot of natural history museums are in cities, whereas our museum is right in the middle of where the dinosaurs are. And because of that, we're able to do a lot of public outreach and public programming where we take people physically to the sites we're working at. And in some cases, actually let people help us find the bones and help us collect them as well. So that's one thing that makes us unique. We're also, as I mentioned, kind of a newish museum. So we have new exhibits. We have some exhibits out in our gallery that no other museum has. So particular things like our Pachyrhinosaurus skeleton. We have some skulls from Alberta. This is the only place that they're displayed. So things like that. And yeah, I think what really makes us unique is our ability to take people back to the source, to take people outside and show them exactly where the fossils came from, because it is literally right in our backyard here. Oh, so the most common question, so a lot of kids are interested in what killed the dinosaurs, and that's a bit of a complicated question, because they're either talking about the dinosaur mass extinction, which is one question, or they're talking about what killed our herd of pachyrhinosaurs. So it's basically the end of that. A meteorite killed all of the dinosaurs in the end, about 66 million years ago. Our specific herd of pachyrhinosaurs that's preserved in our bone bed probably killed in a flooding event. We also get a lot of questions about how much of what we have out in the gallery are real bones and how much of them are replicas. So we have pretty much half and half. So any of the mounted skeletons, most of those are replicas, just because real bone is very heavy and very fragile and very rare. So we tend to make copies of bones and then mount them in those dynamic poses. But we also have a lot of original real fossil material in the gallery as well. Oh, really good question. So in northern Alberta, the paleontology has really only been done here kind of systematically since the 1980s. So we're actually really in the stage where everything we find is significant, because we're still uncovering, every single summer we're still uncovering new things. We have a lot of pachyrhinosaurs, as I mentioned, so we have a big bone bed. We have a lot of those big duckbill dinosaurs. But one of the things we don't have a lot of is the meat-eating dinosaurs. So things like our big Albertosaurus, our big Tyrannosaur, and those smaller feathered dinosaurs. So those are the things that we are starting to find in the fossil record up here. And of course, that's super exciting, because those big predators tell us a lot about that Cretaceous world and how the dinosaurs might have interacted with each other. But also, Tyrannosaurs are really cool. So that would have a big wow factor. So it's really exciting that every year we go and we're starting to find more of these carnivorous dinosaurs. So I think that's going to be the next big discovery here. But you never know. Like, we could go out and find something totally new tomorrow. Not tomorrow. It's still snowing outside. This summer, we'll say. I would say it's worth visiting this museum. So the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology in Drumheller is a fantastic museum. What we have up here is different, though. We're not just another dinosaur museum in Alberta. The fossils that we have, the exhibits that we have, are unique to this region and unique to North America, ultimately.